Hello and welcome to the first ever, second actually, Pandacast. Uh, I'm Kevin and this is Team Pandemonium. And these Pandacasts are something we want to do where we're just going to sit down and talk about events from the past, things we want to do in the future, sort of a recap and preview all in one. So we just want to start off talking about, we've already had a couple events this year and things that have happened so far. Real quick, we have the NHRL qualified bot so far this year. We have 30-pound Emperor qualified in April, Synthesis 30 qualified in March, Synthesis 12 also qualified in March, and Basics who have qualified in February. We do want to talk about a couple of the little things we've done so far this year. So first, let's start off with Motorama. We had a few bots there, Sievert, Overlord, Chubby Unicorn, Hodor, and Light Force, probably missing one still. So Matt or Lyndon, do you want to talk about real quick your moto experience and how you guys did?
Yeah, let's talk. Overlord was a brand new build for Motorama. It was finished, a couple days before, as usual, in usual fashion. It's a scaled up version of our Beetleweight Prince, and it did especially well. It went 4-1 over the 2 days. It placed second overall. And yeah, it was a ton of fun to drive, and I ran with.
Awesome. Matt, you want to tell us about Sievert? Or not? Matt, so Corey, you also went to Moto, and I did as well. Motorama, I brought my brand new 30-pound Light Force. I got to fight once, and unfortunately, my first fight was against their own teammate. So I had to fight Lyndon my very first fight. It went just as well I expected it to. I got turned upside down, robot turned off, and second fight I wasn't able to get to the ring to drive and electronics issues. Corey, you brought two bots today. You want to talk about how you did?
I brought the debut of Synthesis 12 and then just Synthesis 30. The 30 I didn't really put any energy on revamping because it had just fought in February, so I just kind of had minimal damage, brought it. But I did debut Synthesis 12. 12s are really fast and they're really fun. I don't remember my record. I know Synthesis 30 went 2-2, and I think the 12 went 3-2 or something. It was fun. I had a good time. It was cool being in a different environment, more or less, than in the NHRL.
Yeah. It looks like Matt died. So,
he's coming back.
He's back. Oh, he's there. All right, Matt. Matt, tell us about Sievert and tell us about Motorama and your experience.
So, Sievert, when I went to Moto, I kind of went with the mentality that it was going to go 0-2 or 1-2, and I was going to learn a bunch of things because I never really built a real 12, nor did I build a horizontal. So I kind of just thought it'd be a fun time. And instead, I fought the maximum number of matches at Motorama and took second place, and felt a lot of pain throughout the entire event. But 10 out of 10 would recommend. The Amish Hot Pockets are fantastic, and there are some cool dirt bikes and cars. Just lose earlier. That's my recommendation. Lose earlier.
Lose earlier. I like that one. All right. I'm slowly screwing with ABS guys to try OBS to get us, looking better. All right. So reading a list here. We gave ourselves a list. Oh, Matt, you also had a first place win recently with your 1 pound. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I went to the G-Scroll event in April at TCNJ, along with Lyndon, Jillian, and Robert from our team. We had a lot of fun. I ended up entering my Ant Micro because I wanted to have 2 events under its belt to try to qualify it for the G-Scroll Championship in August. And it was kind of just having fun at the day, and I took first place. a lot of back and forth matches, a couple of ones I probably shouldn't have won, honestly, but my luck worked out, and I ended up only losing a single nylon gear the entire event, so it was good. It was nice and chill the entire time.
Lyndon, do you want to talk about that event and how you guys did?
Yeah, I'm pulling up the stats right now. Give me a second. So this was the previous G scroll, Spring Smash. Looking here, I don't remember the event super well. I'll be honest, it was a blur. We ran both Prince and Harlequin at that event. Harlequin being our Emmy cam lifter, Prince being our beetle weight vert. Jillian drove Prince to, with a 1-2 record. I think one of those losses was due to an entanglement thing. There's a rule with G scrolls. If you get entangled twice, it just goes straight to the judges, and the fight ends early. And so that was the one loss. I don't remember what the other one was. Harlequin went 4-2 for the day. I think placed 4th overall. I think yeah, it's pretty good in my mind.
Awesome. Anything you guys want to cover before going into what's coming up? Anybody? Anything else? Perfect. All right, so we have May NHRL coming up. I believe this is the most robots we've ever had fighting at a single NHRL. We have 10 total robots, at least 3 in every weight class, and 4 in the 12-pound weight class. I'm super excited. Just a little bit of a mix-up this one, so we do have a couple people driving bots they normally don't drive. So it's going to be pretty fun. So for the 3-pound robots, we have Basics, Vanguard, and Vapor Trail. Donald's coming back with Basics. Lyndon, you're bringing a brand new bot, Vanguard, and Johnny's bringing back his robot, Vapor Trail. Do you want to talk about what Vanguard is and like give a little sneak peek?
Yeah, totally. So Vanguard is a 2-wheel drive undercutter, beetle weight that's using the new Just Cause Robotics hybrid hub motor. I got one of them right here. That's pretty much it. It's a basic design. I kind of took robots like Kablooey Tango, Radix, and some other other bots as inspiration. The version that's going to be debuting is not the final one. We have a lot of improvements that we're planning on doing after we kind of get a feel for how the robot works and functions. If you'd like, I have the CAD open. I can kind of show that off.
If you want to, sure.
Yeah, let's do that. Share my screen. You guys can see that?
No, please. There we go.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is Vanguard. I think it'll do pretty well. I'm very optimistic for this robot.
I like it. So 3 pounds. Let's see, 12 pounds this event. We do have things mixing up a little bit. So for this event, I'm going to be driving Torrent. In April, I drove the Torrent clone. It's its brother, its sister, the Stormy Boy. So I drove the robot Downpour. Usually we use Downpour to try a couple things out before moving it to Torrent. So for this event, Donald's just like, hey, you want to run it? And I'm going to be the one running Torrent. We have Sievert, Matt's horizontal, running. Is there anything you want to share about Sievert that's new or exciting for this event, Matt?
It's going to look very similar, but I made a bunch of changes. I actually have it in my lap because I was working on it. I actually upsized the motor from a smaller Sunny Sky to a slightly bigger one because a lot of the issues I think I'm having with it currently is I'm asking too much of the motor, so it's heating up and then deciding to catch fire because it doesn't like me. And I kind of confirmed some of that because I ended up loaning a motor to Michael from UCCR, and he was killing the same size motor before even with his smaller horizontal. To be fair, they were using a V-belt at a higher tension, but I think some of it is similar. And then the only other thing I'm really changing in the robot is how I'm running the belt and a smaller weapon hub, because this weapon hub previously was like a pound. Now it's like half a pound, which is way more reasonable. So I can put the weight elsewhere into bigger weapon motor. So I'm kind of hoping it'll do a little better. I also really want to fight Carmen at this event. ideally not before prime time, because I definitely did not drive my best against Carmen, and that robot hurts, and I kind of want to hit it again, see what happens.
Awesome. So the other two we have in here, we have Battletots. So usually Battletots is a bot that me and Matt drive together. For this event, that's changing because I switch over to driving Torrent. We're kind of throwing Battletots at two people that have never run it before. One of those people is Ariel. Do you want to tell us how you feel about running this robot for the first time?
Yeah, you have to mute. Yeah, so I am so wildly unfamiliar with both of those robots. Did you say who the other person was? The other person running the robot is Tim Hebert from Chubby Unicorn. So he's going to be running Froggy. I'm going to be running Same Force. Oh, perfect timing. Tim just joined. So we could throw him in the fire. We are talking about Battletots and how excited we are to be running that together.
I'm ready. I think you're worried. I'm not that worried.
Yeah, I'm incredibly worried. I think that it's going to be good, though.
I think we're going to be all right. Plus,
We
we've
just
got
have to-
all the support in the world right next to us anyway. We'll be okay.
That's true. We are going to have Kevin and Matt there ready to fix the robots so we can tell them everything we love about these robots after they
bold of
break.
you to assume I love my child. That's why I gave it to you, because I hate that child right now. It can live with its stepmom for a while and have fun.
Okay, so what are you guys excited for Battletots? Like, what is the one thing you're looking forward to? Because I know Ariel's like, man, this is going to be this way, and I'm not sure about this and that. So what is one thing you guys are actually pumped for Battletots?
Yeah, so I'm excited to fight in the 12s. I've never fought in the 12s at all. I'm excited to fight as a multi, because I've never like proper fought as a multi. We've had like a mini for like a couple of fights with Pretty Fly, but that's a totally different kind of even coordination with trying to attack from two different things. So yeah, I think those are my two probably most exciting things. And then the other thing I've been joking about is I get to burn you guys' money instead of mine, which is excellent. Break my friends' toys instead of my own. It's perfect.
Yeah, I think I'm most excited about driving a multi that where both parts of it have an active weapon and seeing if Tim and I break each other or if we break the other person.
Yeah, it'll be interesting trying to coordinate that. I know driving together is definitely a challenge. I've chatted with Peter and Ryan about that. There's a bunch of strategy with, when to make your move and when not to and all that good stuff. So that'll be really interesting to try and work out.
There's really no replacement for like time in the ring together or time in the box together, because you get to like know each other's tendencies.
And that's where this gets really exciting, because their time in the box together is this. So
yeah, exclusively fighting each other.
It's going to be fantastic. So there is one more 12-pound I'm really looking forward to talking about. So there's this brand new 12-pound by Corey. Corey, I don't want to give anything away. You want to tell him about it?
I'll give everything away. So basically, what sparked the whole thing was in 30 pounds, you don't get that many fights. You may have 2 fights throughout the entire event, 2 to 3. And kind of the whole point of going to events is getting as many fights as possible. Now, looking at the May registration, there weren't that many 12-pounders. And there was no way I was getting a 3-pounder in because I believe it was at max capacity and with the wait list. So I said, okay, what's a cool name? I said, kind of looking around. I have some video games. Sweet Tooth. I'm like, that's a cool robot. Kind of playing around with the idea of what it possibly could be because there was zero idea what it was. I just had a name and a concept, registered it, said, okay, so I think I have 3 weeks or whatever to get this robot ready. I wanted to bring something different than the typical 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive Big Vert. So I was looking at all my previous designs and I said, what was something that really interested me that I could kind of innovate off of? I had a previous robot that never debuted. It was called Spiral. It was an Omni X 4-wheel drive robot, and what made it unique was Omni drive robots tendency have an issue when they're inverted. They were only relying on 2 out of the 4 wheels. One way to alleviate that issue is having the entire bulkhead hinged, so that way if you flip upside down, now it corrects itself, so it's effectively the same layout. And the nice part is with having a whole hinged bulkhead system, it takes away from the center of mass issue where your weapon is effectively influencing the way that the robot drives. So the robot will drive effectively as if the weapon mass is not there. So I wanted to make it a little bit more complicated. So now it's a shuffling Omni X, and the entire weapon bulkhead system is modular. So I can go from a vert to a horizontal. I do have some contingencies in the event this robot doesn't work. Well, it will work, but not be as. It'll be slow. If it's too slow, I have options. The robot is designed at 12 pounds, so that way I don't run into the issue of the shufflers aren't working. Let's go back to wheels. The entire chassis is just over 1.25 inch tall, which makes it nice and flat. It was kind of funny watching you guys trying to figure out what it was. But yeah, it's definitely nothing that I've ever seen. I've never seen shuffling Omnis, so it'll be interesting to see how it does. You're muted, I think. Alex, I can't hear you.
There you go. We're all excited for it. I was so pumped when you built it, and then like finally showed it off to us, even though we kept it a secret. Matt now hates us for it. It was awesome. So we kind of skipped over these, but like, so for May, well, we have Vanguard. For May, what are you looking for? Like, what's your ideal fight for Vanguard?
Ooh, ideal fight. I was thinking about this, right? Because the idea with Vanguard is I want to just drive it the same way I would drive my, normal control bots, where there's lots of sweeping, large motions. I want to get around. I want to get to the sides, of course, of my opponent. I think just any fight where I can just drive like a madman and have fun with it is gonna be a blast, right? I want to have some fun here. I don't think there's a particular opponent I'm looking to fight. I'm hoping that my blade is low enough that I can bite the corners of some wedges. I'm hoping that I can get some wheels. But I'm also thinking my blade is low enough that I might just hit underneath some bots. So we'll see.
And how about Matt? What are you looking for? Like you said, Carmen. Is there any other fights you really want to do with Siebert?
Well, I'm not going to say ones that I think I would do well into, but there are 2 other people I'd really like to fight, and I'd like to fight them again. I really want to fight Junkernaut from Chris Rummel again, because he has made some changes that he showed me to try to improve the robot against horizontals, because he pretty much said I just went right through his armor and hit his weapon motor like one of the hits, and he's changed his armor package to try to absorb energy. And I'm really interested to see how it goes again. The other one I really want to fight again is Joe Dorfler with Knockout, because this is a new Knockout apparently, which is based a lot upon a really good 15-pounder from, I honestly forget the league. So I apologize to all the people from Pennsylvania that I've just offended by
Bots
forgetting
IQ,
the
right?
name. Bots IQ. And I've seen like the drum and it looks really scary, but I want to fight Joe again because he's really good at driving. Even on like the moto floors where he was avoiding craters and stuff, he was driving really well. So those are the ones I want to fight again. I honestly just want to fight people I fought before because they're fun and it's great having banter with them.
Nice. All right. So Ariel or Tim, first time driving Battletoads and all that. What is your ideal fight? Like, what is the bot that you want to try to take out?
I think first ideal fight would be someone very slow. So we get some practice time to drive around and figure out the controls and all that good stuff.
and end up on your head 3 times with Froggy before you figure out how to drive it.
Yeah. Invert.
Probably another multi, because then we don't have to worry about hitting each other. Because then there's just 4 bots, and we each pick one and go for it.
I like that. So, Corey, what do you want to fight with Sweet Tooth?
So I don't have a particular robot. I just want to see how people interact and adjust their strategies towards me, because from what I've gathered, a lot of verts tend to do the I'm going to aim at you and I'm just going to shoot. Well, the nice part is I can strafe pretty fast out of the way. I have done the shuffling, and I mean, I have my 8-pound 8x8 downstairs, and I mean, I can get across 8x8 or corner to corner. I can get across that in maybe just over 1 second. So it's a quick robot. It'll be interesting just to see how people react to it. That's all. I don't have a specific one. I know I may not be the best against horizontals, but this is an exploration of something I've never done. It's not necessarily I'm trying to make this killer robot that's gonna qualify first try. So it may take a couple tries, more or less. We forgot one weight class, by the way.
Yeah, we're gonna get to 30s. I just kind of forgot a part, so we're going back a little bit. So I guess that leaves me with Torrent. I'm looking forward to any sort of rematch I can get from like Downpour or anything with that robot. I think Huge is in, right? We have another big wheel this event, and I really want to fight one of those again, and just try it out, because right now the bot as a whole is like 1-1 against them. It has 0 top armor, so you just kind of have to send it and hope for the best. And like Corey said, we forgot a weight class, so we have 30s for this event. Yes.
I must say, no disrespect to Ariel, no disrespect to Donald. I think you're the most aggressive person to ever drive the Torrent base, because the way you hit Big-ish was so impressive. And I mean, even when you went against Nightcrawler, just on another level. Just the fact that you just charged right in. So it's cool seeing the different types of drivers and the strategies going in. Like I said, there's not one strategy that works for that specific type of robot. So it's cool to see Ariel driving the way she does, Donald driving the way she does, and the way you drive. So it's cool.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. So 30 pounds. So we have 3 this event. We have Synthesis 30 from Corey, Overlord from Jillian this event, Lyndon?
Yep.
Yes, okay. And I am bringing my robot Light Force. I honestly haven't looked at many of the 30s. So funny story, we were looking at the registrations, like, okay, this is low, not many bots registering. I'm just going to throw the 30 in and maybe have a chance to make it a prime time and have some fun. There'll be like 8 bots, I'll get a couple fights and it'll be great. Didn't we max 30s for this event? Or it's pretty close to max now. So I'm terrified. The robots, I have 1 together. I have some spares and like 5 different robots to build for this event. So I'm really pumped to see how that goes. Corey, you want to talk about Synth 30?
Yes, I'm actually excited for this event because I drove back into the CAD after the last event and just very discouraged. I didn't know what was going on. There was one blistering detail that I kind of had always been overlooking. When I went upsize on the disc, I had to proportionally place it in relation to the chassis of the bot. When I found that the 16-inch wasn't working, I went down to 12-inch and I lowered it to compensate so it hit lower. What I didn't account for was the 16-inch reaches effectively 2-inch radius further forward than the 12-inch. So effectively, I was removing that much more reach. So when I looked into the CAD, I said, wow. Effectively, I was hitting almost an inch above the ground where it exited the chassis. And also, there was about an inch and a half of stuff before the disc would even be able to hit anything. So what I did was I modified it. I rotated the placement forward, so now it hits right at the base plate, and it has so much more reach. And for this event in particular, I'm no nonsense, no fork game, no nothing like that. For horizontals, I still have the nice, steady, stout mega wedge, and then for everything else, you're just getting the disc, going straight in full force at it. So I'm very excited that there was a reason why I wasn't getting the performance that I was looking for. So I'm very excited. And I have to say this with every podcast I do. Ryan Duarte, I'm coming for you.
All right, and so we also have Overlord. Lyndon, I guess that's yours to talk about.
Yeah. So, a little bit of background. I have driven Overlord in both the events it's fought at so far. At Motorama with the 4-1 record, at the March NHRL, I want to say.
Yeah.
With the 0-2 record. Despite going 0-2, it was 2 fantastic, amazing fights. But I will not be driving it for this event. It will actually be Jillian, our other team member, driving it. Now, I think she's a better driver than I am, and she's the main driver for Prince, which it's scaled up from. I think she's going to kill it. I think it's going to be an amazing, amazing day. Overlord hits like a truck. It can control as much as it needs to. Yeah, I've got some secret configs maybe, so we'll see how it does. I'm very excited.
Awesome. So that covers May, except for Boxelmania. Matt, do you want to talk about this crazy idea we have for Boxelmania?
So I think early on in January or February, we kind of at one point in our team Discord made a little like, oh, we should like drive each other's robots at an event sometime. And I think someone said it more as a joke, when in actuality, everyone was like, oh yeah, totally. I would love to drive, Chubby Unicorn or Yippee or Hodor. And then we decided, oh, let's just pick an event. And we kind of kept looking through. We're like, oh, maybe we go to this event or that event. And then finally, Glenn posted Boxelmania, which was going to be Memorial Day weekend. And a few of our team members last year, I think Mike and Donald and Alex, I think you guys went to Boxelmania. So maybe you can talk a little bit about the experience there. But overall, I'd heard it was a really good, well-run event. So we all just said all of a sudden, yo, let's just register a bunch of 3-pounders. And we registered all of our robots, and I think we're like over a quarter of the field, which is kind of crazy. Actually, no, we're not over a quarter. We're like just under. And we're going to still figure out the system, but we're going to all be driving each other's robots, but it will not be the same person driving it who you'd expect to be, which
Well, I think
is pretty cool.
One of the other things we said we were doing is that we're also we're running the robots. We're not just like handing the transmitter over when we get to the cage. We're also going to be doing the repairs when the robot gets damaged. And one of the points of this is so that we can see like how other robots go together and hopefully take some techniques or eliminate some things that are annoying about our own robots.
Yeah, I know one of the things that a few of us are looking forward to is hearing input on things that we don't think are the best in our robot, but we've kind of just lived with, and maybe get a better idea or concept for like how to control it, or how you do a front end attachment, that kind of thing. Like, oh, this is really dumb. Why don't you do it this way? Because I experienced it firsthand and thought it was bad. Or the reverse, you're like, oh, this is amazing. I'm going to carry this into my next revision because why would I not do it this way? It's so much simpler. I know I'm excited for it and definitely just kind of looking to have fun with it. I kind of hope we get a lot of panda on panda violence at that event where we get people fighting each other with not their robots. So it's just like the blind leading the blind for a minute, which would be pretty funny.
That's so mean. I'm like imagining like, oh yeah, I'm driving Chubby Unicorn. I have to fight Yippee, and like I don't want to destroy my own bot like in that way.
But here's the thing,
I
Lyndon.
do.
Have you thought about how much money you could burn? But it's definitely something I know I'm really looking forward to, and am super excited just to hang out and complain about someone else's robot, and then when someone complains about mine, be like, "Nah, you're just bad."
I'm used to
Tim,
complaining
I don't know
about
if
my
any-
own robot, so now I get to complain about somebody else's.
Tim,
Exactly.
when can I borrow Chubby Unicode?
Chubby Unicode is so much more of a pain to set up. So we'll have to figure out a good event for that one.
So, did we talk about who's going yet? No. All right. So the bots we have coming to this event, to Boxelmania, and we all decided we were doing this before we signed up. So we did get to punish people a little bit. So for Boxelmania, we have Hodor, Ominius, Chubby Unicorn, Half-Life Cole, Zane, Basics, and Yippee. It's actually a really diverse list. Because let's see, we have Vert, Drisk, massive weird gyro walker, right? Or is it torque
Zane
reactor?
is a torque walker.
Torque walker. I knew there was a difference, okay? I knew.
There is a difference.
We got a drum, a shuffler drum, a couple control bots. What is everybody excited to run? What is everybody thinking that they want to try running for this event?
Ooh.
Yeah, Lyndon, let's hear what you got.
Okay. I think as long as the robot that I drive is fast, I will have a good time.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Not Ominius.
I don't know how fast Ominius is.
It's not.
So you're telling me you want Zane? That's what I'm
I was
hearing.
gonna say not Zane, not Ominius.
Zane is fun for other reasons, though. I think Basics would be a lot of fun. Hodor could be very interesting. I don't know. I think the only one I would probably have to lock in harder for is Cole. Because Hammer Saws are a different beast of control bot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Cole's gonna be a rebuild for this event. I'm trying to get that done sooner rather than later, so it's not like we're getting to the event and whoever I hand it off to has to finish the build.
So
that shouldn't happen.
what bot are you excited for?
I cannot wait to drive a normal spinner. Haven't done that yet. Haven't built the vert. I guess technically I built an overhead for Battle Tots, but most of that robot's life has been stuck in walls, or stuck on its head. So I would love to drive a vert, or I guess we don't. Beetlejuice isn't going, but I would have liked to drive Beetlejuice.
Maybe.
Oh. Oh.
There's a 25% chance that I try to switch that to Beetlejuice. I'm
Okay.
gonna figure out which bot has more spare parts, and that's the one that's going.
All right.
Yeah.
Who else?
If I can change it.
Who else wants to share what they're excited to run?
Yeah, so I could see two different directions with this. I've been thinking about it a bunch. And either I would want to run something like Zane, Cole, Half-Life, something totally different than I've ever driven, just to get that same kind of experience. Also, I think being on the other side of the cage and getting to figure out the strategy that kind of robot's going to try to implement, I think will give me a lot of insight into then coming back to Chubby Unicorn, because I know how they would, or how I would face me with, a different shape of robot. I think that would be pretty cool. Or I think I would be excited to go the full opposite direction and basically take, basics. So essentially the same robot as Chubby as far as layout and configuration. Even a lot of Donald and I's design mentality overlaps as well. So I think it would be really interesting to take the most similar robot to mine and directly compare them. I'll probably be best at driving that style of robot versus another style of robot, and might be able to go deeper than I would with a different shape of robot. But I think there's a lot to be able to learn from either of those kind of directions.
We have a comment from NHL Ref and Jackalope Builder Gwen, who says, "Go drive a control bot, Tim. It's good for you."
Probably would be good for me. I need a jackalope, then I can do both.
There you go.
I was gonna say, when you guys go to Boxelmania, you'll enjoy the pits, I think, because Corey was there last year too with me because he was helping out. But you have like a normal table, but you also have a shelf, so you can have like your work area and then put whatever tools up you need up on the shelf, and you have more space to actually do the work. And watch out for RCs when you actually drive in. You'll see some scooting across the front. And it's also really interesting to see another take on the remote control with all their walking, all the 4x4 RC cars and stuff. They've got a really interesting layout there.
Yeah, that venue is built for remote control competition and like just fun. It makes me want to get into another hobby, and I refuse. But
don't do it. It's a trap.
Yeah.
But it's a really cool venue, and they're literally built to have pits, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to the event.
Yes.
I have been to that venue a long time ago because I used to do RC car racing. But also this whole mix-up thing is a lot of fun. I get to give somebody my disaster and then take somebody's nice running robot and bring it. And honestly, like, really excited for a lot of the robots. Like, I'll run Hodor. That seems like a lot of fun, flippy, flappy, and all that. I'm excited to run everything that's not my robot. Just because, like you guys said, it'll give me something new. Like, I'd love to run like a Half-Life even because it gives me a new like control bot feeling. I've never ran a control bot at any event. Jeez. So
Too bad Stag 3 got retired.
yeah, it'll be back.
Temporarily.
What are you talking about? Yeah, temporarily, it'll be back.
Yeah, well, I mean, it needs new parts and less melted ones.
Okay, so we did something fun. We did the what is the robot you'd want? Let's play. Let's hurt feelings a little bit. What is the robot everybody doesn't want? Like, what is the robot you're going to be like, oh no, I got this? And what are you going to do to overcome that? Like, I didn't want this. How make the best of it?
If I get Ominius, I cry because your wiring is the worst.
It is not the worst. It is so tight. Look it. Okay,
That's the
I
problem.
got it. Yeah, everything fits in this tiny little robot. Okay, it's actually like almost a pound under. It's great. What are you talking about?
So
You
That's
might not
my
enjoy
biggest-
Chubby Unicorn.
What?
that's my
Oh,
Chubby Unicorn has connectors though, Tim.
That's
That
true.
matters. Jaren knows about it. Jaren knows, right?
hey, Jaren, Chubby has connectors.
But I think the thing that I'm most scared of is robots that direct solder. Because I've gotten better at it, but it's definitely something that I'm not great at. Also packaging things in weird ways. But generally, I'm not really scared of any robot. I think the robot that would scare me the most to just handle would be Zane, because I don't want to lose a hand, and that robot scares me. But aside
Zane
from
is
that,
set up with a
Ominius,
good amount of safety switches, but it is a scary robot. It's also I'm working on some minor improvements for this event, but like it hasn't run since the last Fitchburg event, and we discovered over the course of like early last year that it's actually a flamethrower disguised as a spinner, but it needs the fuel to move, and it runs out of fuel like a minute or so into the fight every time. So we're trying to make the gears a little bit more reliable, but my priority for this event is going to be coal because it's not ready yet. And Zane has run with the same design before. I hadn't processed how afraid I was of Ominius.
come on, guys, it's not that bad.
Like I do connectors for a reason. I don't like doing a lot of stuff in the pits.
There's like 2 total connectors in the spot. You're fine. There's 2. Like it's all. That's all I need.
Yeah, but there's 4 motors.
Yes, I'm using.
So
I'm
that
using
means
every
there's
channel of
4
4
things
ones.
that needed connectors that don't have them. I mean, I've run control bots in the past, and I am not very good with them, so I'm kind of afraid of Hodor and Half-Life as well. Just because like I want to try something new, and I've actually done pretty well with the lifter recently, and I want to try something else.
So you guys all rag on me for not having my bot done until the night before. So now, given Alex's confidence in his own bot, Cole is the one I'm most scared of. Because I don't need to be building it last second like I build my own robots.
Yeah. I did a test fit up today, and it was not ready, but we're still a month out.
Plenty of time.
All right. Anybody else? What are you?
Or the fact.
What are you afraid of? What do you not want to run? Y'all are too nice. I'm surprised. Okay. Yeah. So that's going to be a really fun event for us. I'm really excited to like shake it up, and hopefully we all learn something and have a good time. And it's not actually a nightmare for all of us. We'll all be there. We'll all help each other out. So that's really cool.
Have we figured out the methodology for picking?
No. So we're working on figuring out how we're going to pick them. There's been a couple toss-ups, and it keeps going back to like a modified white elephant. Also, I kind of want to do that here. Like, I kind of want to do a Pandacast where we all actually talk about our robots and like, this is my robot, and these are the flaws I have, I think it has, or these are, and talk about your robot, and then we pick. You know, we do our White Russian thing, and then we come back and everybody talks about how they did with that robot. I think that'd be a cool like future episode for everyone.
Freudian slip with White Russian.
White Russian?
White elephant, thanks.
And I was going to actually ask, there is one person who I think could maybe give us a couple pieces of advice. Corey builds many robots in many different styles all the time. I actually think he's the perfect guy to give us a tip or two about swapping and changing styles so frequently, and pitfalls and concerns you should be thinking of the day of. I don't know if he has any ideas or thoughts on that.
Yeah, Corey, you've built 2 of every one of our bots, so which one would you be the most scared of?
I would actually enjoy driving any of the robots, honestly. Even though I build a vert and Kevin builds a vert, Tim builds a vert, our verts are entirely different. The way we design them, the thought process of, okay, what's priority, the geometries, the way it's laying out. So even if I were to drive a 4-wheel drive vert, it's still going to be a different experience. But I don't know. I would probably want to drive not a vert, just because that's kind of all what I drive. But there's not a single robot that I would not want to drive. If I was to approach this, I would first open up the robot, and then just kind of get a feel for how everything is routed, where the batteries sit in relation to the motors or the ESCs, how the ESCs are going to be packaged, so that way you're not trying to jam it in and then slap the cover on, because then that's when something gets pinched and then something shorts out or something like that. So I think kind of getting familiar with the robot, even if it's just a couple minutes of understanding the relationship between all the components internally, and then getting a feel for, I mean, how fast it drives forward, how it turns, what it feels like as it's turning with the weapon on, if it has one, how it self-rights. So there's a lot of small details that you definitely want to look at. But I mean, just go in and have fun. I mean, ultimately you are driving your teammates' robots, so it's not like I need this try-hard robot. I mean, Tim's a different story, but no, it's just have fun. I mean, if I wasn't crammed with all the other stuff, I definitely would have loved to go to this event, but there's always next year.
I'm still hearing Zane, Corey.
Oh no, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I've always wanted to build a droopy type robot, so I would love to drive Zane.
Awesome. So that kind of covers everything we had for this one. Does anybody have anything?
No.
What we got?
Wait, where are my keys? I need to shake my keys.
Uh-oh.
April.
Oh, wait, there was something huge that happened in April. We isn't there?
The qualification of Emperor. It's been a little time coming now. However, I'm very proud. It was a very weird event, but I wasn't there. Take it away.
Yeah, talk about it, Lyndon. Let's hear. What you guys go? Let's go.
Okay. So honestly, there's not a ton to say. We had one fight over the course of the entire day. That got us a qualification, which is amazing. It's a double-edged sword, of course, but you know what? We'll take it. Emperor has not changed in the past like 4 or 5 events we brought it to. So, I mean, if I double check the math here, that's going back to pretty much April NHRL of 2024. It's the same bot. It's mostly the same electronics. You know, I think we adjusted put cleats on at one point. Yeah, we dialed in. It worked for a fight, which is wonderful. And then we qualified.
Awesome.
It was a great fight too. Terminator was pushing us around, and then we hit their weak point, and then they blew up.
Yeah, that was an incredible fight for us to watch. Like we were sitting there, and it was pretty like, I don't want to say one-sided, but it was a little scary in the beginning because you guys were getting beat up, and at one point you got hung up on the wall, and we're just sitting like, oh no, and then all of a sudden, Terminator lost its entire weapon assembly, and I genuinely don't think I've ever heard a crowd react like that before. Like
it was so loud. Now
I'm
wasn't
still sorry
I wasn't driving. It was Jillian driving.
Yeah.
And like I was just like I was there right next to her, and I was like, oh my god, he's not moving. And then I saw the weapon was askew, and I was like, holy hell, Jillian, we just did this. And Jillian's just there in like shock, like looking at the bot, being like, what did I just do?
I mean, I don't think anybody actually had an idea of what was going on. Like the announcers even were like, oh, I think it's a double knockout, because like after you hit them, you guys kind of like move to show like, hey, we're still fine, we're not going to move anymore. And the announcer's like, I think it's a double knockout. And like we're all just like, nah, we're celebrating, this is it. Like it was awesome.
Yeah, we just like we totally at that point we weren't even paying attention to the robots. We were just like, it was just a huddle of like everyone just celebrating and screaming. I think Matt like broke my eardrum.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I will say the Florida guys. I think is it University of Florida. They started like a Gator chant, and then we started an Emperor chat, and got everyone hyped up. I think in the crowd beforehand, which was pretty lit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I remember talking to a kid before the fight that didn't happen with Emperor against Lil Lash. And like he was saying like, oh, Emperor's already my favorite.
That kid was awesome. He went and bought one of our jerseys, which thanks for the support, guys. Like awesome. And then he went and talked some other guy into the crowd into like cheering for us and buying our jersey after the Emperor fight. They're like, these guys are awesome, go buy their jersey. And this little kid was like our biggest fan. I was like, hey, come on, you got to do this. These guys are awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so the second fight, right? I'm sure people are wondering what happened. We saw it go in. We saw some smoke. There's a lot of talking. Do you want to just like go over what happened and why you guys decided not to fight that fight?
Yeah, so I mean, really quick. There's not much to talk about here. We turned the bot on. We heard a lot of crackling and the smoke come out of the. You turn the bot on. You hear the crackling. You go, oh shit, and you immediately turn the bot off. And we kind of wait a second, and we're like, what do we do here? And we see the smoke come out of the robot, and we start smelling it. And you know, at that point, we're not sure if it's a lipo fire, if like something else got shorted. But we're pretty much like, hey, if we turn the bot on again, the chances of it doing the exact same thing are very likely. We kind of took a step back, thought about it for the amount of time they gave us, and we're like, this fight isn't going to happen. And it's a shame because we really wanted to fight Matt Vasquez and Little Lash. He's an awesome person and accomplished bot builder driver. I think if I could have gone either way, which is incredible to think about, but it just didn't go our way before the fight. We went back up to the pits and we took the robot apart, and we did find that the insulation around one of our speed controllers had split due to the heat from the Terminator fight. And that where it split was right on top of the leads for the capacitor on that speed controller. and that was shorting to the shuffler pod that was right next to it. So we did have an internal short. The crackling we were hearing was like it was shorting and unshorting and shorting and unshorting. It would not have been a smart idea to fight that fight in the condition the bot was in. So I think we made the right call, as unfortunate as it was. And Emperor lives to fight again. It'll be be there in December, hopefully before then too.
Awesome. Yeah.
Was that speed controller permanently damaged? Did you have to swap the speed controller?
No. It's perfectly fine intact. I don't think even the capacitor blew. We were able to turn the bot on. It actually, we Twitch tested it before that fight, and the robot was perfectly fine in the box. So that's why it was especially disappointing. But afterwards, there was no visible damage to the ESC. I don't think we actually tested it.
I wonder where all that smoke came from.
That's a great question. I think it was the actual like plastic that had the insulation was charred.
Yeah, plasma.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. Okay, so now I think that's everything. All right, Corey, did I forget anything else?
No, you're
All right,
good.
awesome. So I guess that's it. This was the first ever Pandacast. We hope to keep doing this. We want to talk about our events and kind of engage with you guys more. I appreciate all of you guys that came and watched us with us tonight. Look out for a future one where we're going to be talking and probably doing the divvying up of robots for the RCE event, the Boxelmania. And thanks for watching and have a good night, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for being fans.
What's happening right now?
I think we're waiting for Kevin to say we're
I
off
was
there.
waiting to make sure the stream died. I'm like watching the stream.
The
There,
stream's on a
did that.
delay.
We should have had a
I'm
Ferris
watching
Bueller clip
it
queued up.
die.
All right, I did it. All right.
Okay, you're no longer live.
Oh,
Nice
thank
job,
God.
everyone.
We're not live. Hold on. Let me just make sure.